What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. Let's get into it today. Today has been a continuation of both Democrats and Republicans having a fit over this Mamdani guy. Basically saying there's something wrong with him in the sense of he wants things that are too liberal for the people. And both parties are freaking out. The Republican Party is freaking out is because he had people from Republicans, independents, Jewish, black, white, men, women, all across the spectrum were voting for him. And Republicans are doing their best right now to make it all about his religion, him being Muslim, right? There are some Democrats who are bringing up that same topic, but not in the same way. But still, they're making it seem as though he doesn't understand certain like American ways. And Republicans are going at it like he's some kind of terrorist that we can't trust. And both of them are sickening because all this man is saying is that we got to stop, parading around the rich like they're the best thing on earth and saying fuck you to the poor people. After all, it's the poor people that these rich people are draining their monies from. These poor people are the ones who are the foundation for them to continue getting wealth. And as they seek more wealth, knowing that they're going to be taking money out of poor people's pockets, both parties are freaking out because they're beholden to the billionaires. And they don't quite understand this movement of Americans being sick and tired of being sick and tired, being tired of waking up every day, going to work, busting your butt, get off work, take care of your family, whatever, then go to either a second job or hop on and become a content creator or whatever it is to your second job. And every now and again, jumping in your car and driving, either delivering food through Instacart or driving somebody around via Uber just so that you could pay the bills or have an extra amount of money putting to the side so that just in case something happens, you got a stash. You having 2 and 3 jobs and taking care of a family. When it used to be those same people who are doing that now, remember their mom and dad working one job and taking care of a family and getting by. And if they needed extra money, mom or dad will pull a second job, part-time, not full-time almost, part-time job, doing whatever, cleaning a home, cleaning a commercial office or whatever it may be, fixing a car here and there, building a computer here and there. If you was a tech person, going and helping somebody out through tech, building a little extra side money with maybe one job. And now you're looking at your third or fourth job like you on in living color, like you, hey, man, got 17 job. And you still just barely getting by. Americans are sick of that shit. And billionaires not paying their fair share is part of the reason why we're going through that shit. The billionaires gave away our jobs to other countries. Good paying jobs, union paid jobs, jobs that would have led to factory work and different other things, and also corporations and starting new businesses and industries that we could have started in this country that could have been cheaper had we kept it up and built new technologies like China did. But no, they were greedy and they wanted now. Just like they're going into our government cutting shit back because they want shit right now, and putting middle class people and people just getting by, living check to check out of work and saying that we're trying to save money for what? To give poor people $100 back? Or is it because you want a gazillion dollars back so that you could say I'm going to create jobs and never do it? I'm on the same plane and even further than Mamdani. He's talking about things that are good. Don't get me wrong. There are things that we can do as citizens and that the government can do because we pay taxes into it, but the government don't ever want to do it for you. They want quick results. That means going to a billionaire and getting him to sign a $20 million check and everything's done. They're just lazy about it. Instead of going to the people and motivating the people like Mamdani did, and I hope I got his name right, he walked entire parts of New York and talked to people, engaged with people. These politicians done got fat. And I ain't talking about, the size. I'm saying they done got fat. They done got financially stable. And they're like, F you to everybody else. Listen to one of the Republican senator who said they'll get over it. Mitch McConnell. People not having health care insurance. And their kid who was born with either, extreme asthma, diabetes, a congenital heart situation. You're telling me they're going to get over it. What do you benefit by throwing those people off of insurance? Throwing those people off of, poor people off of SNAP. What do you benefit for? What do we benefit from it? We have better people in society. Those people get access to the American dream. I don't know too many people I've ever met that love being on SNAP, but they loved it being there when they fell so they can pick themselves back up. Now you're trying to take out the safety net. So what happens when they fall? There's no system to help them back up. You're going to have to rely on people. Right now, it's hard as hell for these people to give a damn. So if the system's gone that was there to give a damn, are we going to rely on the people to do that when they haven't even been trained to do so? In their lives, they've been focused on capitalism without caring. Capitalism that hates humans but loves greenbacks. I saw, who was it? 50 Cent. Mad at Mamdani because he's talking about stores and things like that. And he mentioned, I think in a conversation, I don't know what show it was on, that it amounts to $20,000 more in taxes, 2%, if you have $1 million. And I guess he's worth about $1 billion or whatever, close to it from what they say. And he's like, oh no, don't take any money from me, type of thing. And he's talking all this trash, like, whose man is this? So that's the man of the people. I don't know why people thought that 50 Cent was for people. This is a man that was a gangster. This is a man that took a bunch of bullets. This is a man that's been around bullying everybody and their mama. And we support this man like he's good for our community. He does everything to talk down to our people, make fun of our people, disrespect our people. I can't tell you the last time I heard this man say something positive about anybody black on his site, on any of his social medias. It's always talking shit, talking down to people, saying you ain't got this money, you're not educated. I don't ever hear this man talk about anybody except for Eminem in a positive light. Maybe it's my algorithm that I see. But he's going to talk about Mamdani like, oh, something's wrong with him that he wants the bottom part of America to have access to the fucking dream. If you're not going to give them a pay raise, then start making some shit free so they can get by. If you're going to take out the safety nets for them, where is the system that's supposed to provide for the least of us? They're getting rid of all the least of us programs, or at least cutting them back ridiculously. Then what do you think is going to happen? Crime is going to rise. There's only so much you can do when you can't feed your child. No matter what race, color, or creed you are. If you can't feed, hell, a dog or a cat, if you can't feed your baby, you out there trying to find any and everything to feed your child. It may take you a while to get to unaliving somebody and robbing them. But let it sit on your soul in your pocketbook that there's no safety net, crime will rise. Even the most godly or God-fearing person will figure something the hell out. And it won't be legal if you're pushed into a corner. Why would you want to do that? Because they don't care about you. And Mamdani, I don't know him personally, but just his plans alone is down my alley. The government, we spend too much money in it not to help the least of us. If you're going to bitch and moan about crime, then create something that relieves that pressure from the poor so that they don't have to commit a crime. They can just walk to a store that might be just for them until they get back onto their feet. After a while, they're going to get tired of that free food. Trust and believe. They're going to want to move ahead. But as long as they got some food in their stomach, they can transform their lives. Their brains work. Ideas come to mind. Jobs start to come into play. But with food gone, you're just thinking about survival. And that's when crimes start to rise. It's not rocket science. You see it in Trading Places, even though it's a movie, it's a reality. You can take Jeff Bezos right now, one of the richest men in the world. Take every dime he has, and he'll be out on the street robbing people. After he has no food, no safety net, and nobody who gives a fuck about him. And everybody around him broke. They'll keep telling you, oh, I'll make $1 million if I went broke again and start back over. No, you won't. So you got that safety net of white privilege. You got that safety net of people that you know and always knew in your life that had money and just waited for you to come up with a great idea and gave you some. You have that safety net of having 10 times more than poor families, even when you are middle class. Take all that shit away. I ain't talking about giving your safety back. I'm talking about taking it all away like these people who are living on the street. Take you from the top of the mountain and put your ass down on the street where the drugs and crime is at. And don't give you nothing, no food, no opportunities. Like you're trying to do to these people. Even the richest man will turn into a criminal. But they think they're above that. They don't care about these people. All the while telling you, I got your back. You don't know what our lives are like. Quit pretending like you care either. Elon Musk went into this Doge thing, stole a bunch of our information, got contracts stolen from other people who had already worked their butts off to get them, and then bounced. Not only with hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts of our money, and firing people and saying he saved billions of dollars, hundreds of billions for what he said. Turns out it's not. Firing people in positions in which he had to rehire because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. All this stuff is continuing. And Mamdani has tapped into it. He wanted to run for office. I don't. I want to be outside of office helping without the constraints. So we need someone like him that can listen. They can be a part of the solution for the majority of the people. See, what they don't understand is that Democrats, and I do believe Republicans and independents who aren't fucking batshit crazy like MAGA, they want a change for a change. Meaning they want a system that works for them and not against them. A system that has devised hand-ups, not handouts. You can reimagine all of these systems where they say, well, we're giving them all these entitlements, but then turn around. If you can come up with apps that can do crazy shit and solve problems, you could have solved poverty the same way. Gave people opportunities to be able to create better ways of life. If you could come up with solutions to get to the moon, you can't tell me you can't come up with solutions to create or improve minimum wage, to give Americans back one job to take care of a family. You could do that, but you shift it. And you always talk about, socialism. Whereas, you're going to take money out of my pocket and redistribute wealth. And it's so crazy how they sit there and turn redistribution of wealth against poor people, trying to take their riches, while at the same time, your taxes are going into a huge system, and these billionaires are trying to redistribute wealth by giving themselves tax cuts and subsidies, welfare, and making you poorer while they get richer. Redistribution of wealth. Steal from the poor and give to the rich. While they do that, they got all the money to run campaigns to talk down on poor people and immigrants trying to take your jobs. You could take all the immigrants in this entire country, okay, and give them $50,000 a year in the job, even picking whatever the hell they pick. They still would make the same amount of money as Elon Musk or any of the other billionaires in a year. It wouldn't solve or hurt you one bit, America. Not at all. But they want you to believe that by dividing everybody and saying, oh, it can't happen. Oh, it's so much money, whatever. They're trying to build one plane, one rocket for $400 million or more. That's our money that can't be redistributed anywhere. Just give it to rich people. America's sick and tired of hearing the bullshit. We need these billionaires or we can't get by. The only reason that's true is because they robbed us many years ago with Reagan and all the others, sending everything overseas. And now they want to bring it back so they can make a lot of money, but still don't pay us worth a damn. Americans got to wake up. That's why they ran this huge campaign against woke. Because they know that black people have the truth on their side. Everybody else wants to ignore the truth because it's painful. Black people keep telling the truth and it pisses them off. So they had to turn woke into a negative so that other people can stop wanting to be woke. What's the opposite of woke? Sleep. So you have no problem with being asleep, walking through life with your eyes closed and knocked out. While black people are saying, wake the fuck up. Look, see, pay attention, learn. Don't listen to them. Learn for yourself. Don't listen to me. Learn for yourself. They don't want that. They want you to be blind and a sheep. So much so, they'll call you a sheep for being a person who wants to know the truth. Are you over there with those other sheep trying to find out the truth and be woke and understand shit because, being all smart and sedity and bougie while we all be over here dumb and happy. But they'll use terms that entice these dumbass people. You want to, be able to do whatever you do and all this other adjectives they come up with that get them in a trance. They're taking everything away from you and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, how the fuck they taking shit from me? They over here picking fucking apples and shit. They don't even own the fucking apple. It's the rich people that decided not to give you shit. So how the hell the poor people are the ones you got a problem with? Why don't you have a problem with the rich people not giving you a fucking job? Why don't you have a problem with the rich people not giving you a living wage job? They're giving them $7 an hour. They should be giving you 30. Why don't you go off on a rich person and say, fire the 7 and give us 30 and I'll be on your farm tomorrow. You ain't got a problem with them paying them nothing. You just hate those people. It ain't got shit to do with money. It's just your hate. Because if it had anything to do with money and economics, you'd be pissed off at the rich. I don't understand the mentality of being pissed off at poor people who have to work in the dark. And I ain't talking about outside the dark. I'm talking about in the dark away from everything. Always hiding from people. Always getting on somebody's vehicle to go to some house that you could end up being chopped up or some shit. But you got to go and make a living for your family. And you got to trust these crazy people that are picking you up on the side of the road. How many of them go missing a year? How many have been taken into slave trades because they trying to make a living. Y'all don't care about that shit. You just keep on talking about they making money, $7, while you make that much in less than an hour, 15 minutes. It ain't about money. It's about hate. So when I see people of color getting mad at another man of color, Muslim man, because he's trying to do right, not by only our people, but all people, then you're the piece of shit, 50 Cent. I said it, and I say it to your face. You're a piece of shit. To sit here and talk about people trying to get by, and all you got to pay is an extra $20,000 per million that you have, when you'll go out and buy some trash-ass shit, an ugly-ass watch for $4 million, parading it around like you somebody, but you can't help out people who are buying your little whack-ass albums. It's crazy how these people get where they are because people have shown them love and respect, and then when they see their own people or another American fall into the wayside, you can't help them unless they're going to make you millions. I'll never understand why God blesses them with economics when they don't have shit to do with God or Jesus or anything whatsoever. Their mentality is fuck everybody else and I'm going to get rich. Not realizing that all those people they're saying fuck over are the ones they need to get rich and stay rich. I never understood that. The people you needed, you can't even help now. And the crazy part is, the more you help people, the more they're on your team. I don't understand why rich people don't understand if you help the least of you or of us. Those people are loyal to you because you've done for them when they needed you. When they needed a hand up, you were right there to give it to them. And instead of being that type of person and always professing to be close to God and shit, Jesus went and helped people who didn't have. He didn't run to the haves, he ran to the have-nots. That's why it sickens me when they try and use that religion crap. They don't believe in it. Every last one of them lying about what their connection is to God. Because there's no way you can have a connection to God and have a disdain for the poor. Ask how many of them that's so, oh, I'm Jesus, and got crosses on their fucking necks. Tell me how many times you went to a church and washed the feet of the poor. He never thought of that shit. So why you walk around with the cross acting like you close to something? Hypocrites. Ain't even thought of a plan to help poor people, let alone wash their feet. That's a metaphor. You don't have to help wash their feet. The part is helping them. How many times have you went to a community and say, you know what? I make $1 billion, whatever. Why can't I just go and buy up a facility that's empty and create a hospital for the homeless? What, it costs $100,000, $200,000? What to say? Let's say $1 million to run every year. You going out buying $20 million homes. You can't do that? That's not going to hurt you. But you'll never hear them talking about doing nothing like that. That's why to me it's sickening that you reach for billions, but you can't look back and help with millions. I truly believe if you did that, you go from $1 billion to probably $10 billion. Who wouldn't want to be around or even invest in somebody who gave a damn about the people? That's why people like in New York, Mamdani. Because no matter where his status is in life, he doesn't look broke. But what he sounds like is he gives a fuck. That's why people like him. That's why I don't even know him and I like him, because he sounds like he gives a fuck. I can't stand people who don't give a fuck about nobody but themselves. That's why I always say it's a we thing. This life, Being a person who's alive, lifing, it's a we thing, never a me thing. Ain't nothing you got in life you did just by yourself. It's always been a we thing. And if you think of that me shit, you're narcissistic. We, your mom and dad. If you didn't have mom and dad, foster parents, you didn't have their friends, if you didn't have that dog or cat, it's always been a we. Ain't never been a fucking me. And these people that we put up on a pedestal are shit humans. It's always been me to them. Anyway, when you talk about today in the news and things happening outside of Mondani, you notice what the Supreme Court did today, and it's a lot of, confusion about what they did today in the courts. You had a split, I think it's 6-3 or something like that. All the Republicans versus the liberals, or whatever they are, Democrats, they have a liberal slant. Supreme Court justices. It's all about, right now what it's leading to is birthright citizenship, but their first phase is literally talking about them having the right, meaning Trump and his people having the right to like overthrow like but yeah, put it this way, it's more like the justices don't have as much power as Donald Trump and an executive, that they can determine some things, but they can't determine it, like have injunctions for like the entire United States. So if Tennessee says, no, you can't, end birthright citizenship, and that's a right constitutionally for the entire country, which it is. The 14th Amendment is for everybody in this damn country, not just everybody in Texas or Tennessee. It's for all people. So that's why these judges would say, no, you can't do that according to the Constitution of all people. Seeing as how I'm a federal judge, here's the deal. There's an injunction on you trying to end birthright citizenship in Tennessee. That shit just can't happen. And that goes for everybody. Well, the Supreme Court is judging that, you could put an injunction on Tennessee, but you can't put it on everybody. Why not? It's the Constitution. It's federal. That's for everybody. That's why you have Pam Bondi step to the microphone today and say, I can't wait. They're so excited, and Trump as well, so excited that they can't wait until the next session, which I believe is like in October, that they're going to get rid of birthright citizenship. They're so giddy about it. I don't believe Americans, for the most part, understand what we're dealing with here when they talk about this. Thank you, DJ, for the $20 gift. I appreciate you. I don't think you understand what it means when they saying get rid of birthright citizenship. They're literally backdooring this whole situation with the hate of immigrants, right? They're talking about the hate of immigrants, and they're bringing up birthright citizenship. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, I'm about to tell you that 14th Amendment is not about immigrants. None. 14th Amendment is not about immigrants. They're using immigration because they already don't got the American people, even black people, some Latin people, some Asian people, some whatever, racist white people, some regular white people. They done got you to kind of dislike immigrants, and they're using immigration to get rid of something that has nothing to do with immigration. They're talking about birthright citizenship. They're getting you pissed off about a person who came over here and married somebody or had a baby, and that person is now a citizen. They've gotten you to throw down your guard on history and just focus on the moment, your hate of whomever, others, or your misunderstanding of history, because they want you to be dumb as fuck and not know your history. So we're going to go a little bit over the history of this 14th Amendment, which is the birthright citizenship, which has nothing to do with immigration. So I want those who are immigrants in this country, no matter how long you've been here, since the 1800s, 1860, whatever the heck it's been, however long you've been here, I want you to understand after 1865 that you pay homage not to the white man for you being here. Pay homage to the black people for the reason that you are here in this country. Because what I'm about to share with you, you hear them speak about it all the time, but nobody goes into the history of what the fuck we talking about. See, they always talk about Dred Scott. You done heard them talk about it. He's been watching the news today. Well, this came down with Dred Scott, Dred Scott, Dred Scott, Dred Scott, Dred Scott. What the fuck is Dred Scott? It's said a lot, but I don't believe a lot of people know what the hell it is. They're talking about it very nonchalant. You have these lawyers on TV and pundits. They said when it came down to Dred Scott and it won. They don't tell you what Dred Scott is. Again, all day I've been hearing people say Dred Scott, and none of them told you that Dred Scott was a black man. None of them told you about the history of his life. None of them showed you who the fuck he is. That's Dred Scott. He didn't even get a chance to witness what happened. Everything went down after he died. He got freedom, but not because of the system, but because eventually his owners allowed him to be free because there was so much pressure going on. Because the country went a little apeshit about what they were trying to do to him. See, before him, we were still enslaved, right? Before him, we were not humans. We were not citizens of this country. We were not citizens of America. When they bring up Dred Scott, it's because of him. Pay homage to the man, not just the name. Attach the name in the face. There's a reason. Does he look like he's Muslim? From a Muslim country? Does he look like a Latin person from Mexico? Does he look Canadian to you? That man was an enslaved human being. That's the reason why we have birthright citizenship in this country. Not somebody who had white skin, somebody who went through hell with black skin. I wrote a story about his life. And just not necessarily a story about it, but just a narrative that I had to create about this so that you can better understand about who this man was and what he kind of went through. Not in depth, but enough for you to kind of get a visual. And I named it The Man Who Was Told He Was Not a Man. The Dred Scott story, a narrative of blood, chains, and law. In the shadow of America's shining declarations, where words like liberty and justice dance proudly on parchment, walked a man named Dred Scott, him. But for most of his life, he walked in chains. Not metaphorical ones, real ones, with iron that bit into his flesh and a silence that told him he was not meant to speak. This man, Dred Scott, was born 1799 in Virginia, where slavery was as normal as sunrise. Bought and sold like cattle, he eventually landed in Missouri, held by an army surgeon named Dr. John Emerson. But Dr. John Emerson, he didn't keep still. Like many military men, he often moved. And where he went, he took Dred. That's where this story begins to turn. You see, Dr. Emerson took Dred to live in Illinois and the Wisconsin Territory, places where slavery was forbidden by law. For a time, Dred stood on free soil in a land that said no man shall be owned here. He worked, he lived, he married a woman named Harriet Robinson, also enslaved, and they had 2 daughters. For a moment, Dred tasted what life without chains felt like. But freedom is a fragile thing when the law pretends not to see you. When Emerson died, and that was Dr. Emerson, Dred Scott was passed like property to Emerson's wife, his widow, who wanted to move back to Missouri, a slave state, away from Illinois. Dred said no, but not in defiance, not with like a raised fist, like being pissed off, but in quiet conviction. This is a quote from him, and I quote, "I have lived on free land. I am no longer a slave. I will fight this," unquote. His words. So in 1846, Dred Scott and Harriet, his wife, filed a lawsuit in Missouri court. Now, Missouri was a slave state. They claimed that their residence in free territory, which was Illinois, had made them free. A simple idea, really. Just logic. Just justice. At first, the Missouri courts agreed. But on appeal, they reversed course. So Dred Scott took it higher. The case wound its way through the legal system like a storm winding up speed until finally in 1857, it landed in the Supreme Court of the United States. It was Chief Justice Robert G. Taney, writing for the majority, did not simply rule against Scott. He delivered a declaration soaked in centuries of white supremacy. And I quote from Chief Justice Robert B. Taney, "A black man has no rights which the white man is bound to respect." Dred Scott is not a citizen and never can be. The Constitution was never meant to include him, unquote. With those words, the Supreme Court declared every black person in America, enslaved or free, outside the promise of citizenship. They weren't just denying Dred Scott, they were denying millions, denying humanity itself. The decision ignited fury across the country. It pushed the nation one step closer to civil war. Mind you, this is in 1857. The Civil War happened around 1860 something. So it would push them closer. They're already close, pushing them even closer. Because when the highest court says you aren't human, the only path left is revolution. Dred Scott lost his case, but in a strange twist, he won his freedom just months later. Not through the courts, not through justice, but because his enslaver's family gifted it to him, likely to calm down the storms that followed the ruling. They didn't realize that the country was going to light up over this. They just thought that they were going to just get away with it and snatch this black man and not give him any kind of freedom whatsoever. But the country was already on tilt against slavery. Abolitionists and others were like, wait a minute. and then free black people also at the time who had bought their freedom or earned their freedom also were in that same vein. So this country was on a rise of just like getting out of this situation. Dred lived just one more year as a free man before dying in 1858. He spent his entire life an enslaved man and only had 1 year free. But this case did not die with him. In the blood of the Civil War, the fire of his name burned. And when the Union rose victorious, it delivered the 13th Amendment, ending slavery, and the 14th Amendment, in which they're trying to overturn Trump and his minions in the Supreme Court, giving leeway to make that a possibility come up in October of this year when they take it up. Guaranteeing birthright citizenship. That's what the 14th Amendment's about. It guaranteed that black people can have citizenship in this country. After helping to build it, finally, they were clarified and classified not only as humans, but as citizens. Both drafted to erase the stain of Dred Scott versus Sanford, who was the people who owned them, from the Constitution forever. You see, Dred Scott only had 1 year, but he was there. He died before the Civil War. But like they said, what he did inspired them to say, you know what? We don't have no other ends at all to get this. They're trying to make us go backwards, similar to what they're doing right now, trying to go backwards. And I understand that people are like, oh, but they're talking about immigrants, but they're not. You think they're talking about immigrants because that's easier to hate right now. But I want you to look outside your home at your black friend or your black husband or your black babies, and I want you to understand something. They're talking about them. Because this law was not made for immigrants. This law was made for black people. And the only reason it included immigrants is because the people who were trying to change the laws, and thank God for them, it was really written just for black people to be citizens and nobody else. But it became everybody else. And when it says people, is because they didn't want it to be easy for people who hate black people to just go in the next administration and just overturn the 13th Amendment or the 14th Amendment. They didn't want them to go over and overturn it because all it takes is for them to overturn it and we're back to square one. So they made it so that it incorporated everyone who's not a citizen, like immigrants. So therefore it had a wide net. It wasn't just something that you can have racists just point straight at black people. So it was made for security to incorporate more than just black. And with Project 2025, I keep telling y'all, these people are racist beyond belief. And it's not just Latin people. It's not just Muslim people. They're the ones receiving it. But it's meant for black people because we're the one that fought and died so that that exists in this country for those people to be here. It is what we fought and died for they're trying to overturn. Immigrants are just a byproduct. They were the safety net so that they couldn't just do it to black people. And these people know it. They just know that most Americans don't. You're seeing these immigrants as criminals and they're telling you they're rapists and they're some maybe good people. They're using them to get to black people. Age-old story. That's how they keep us divided. People come here to this country, don't realize they got here because of black people. They try to associate with white people and fuck over black people, not realizing it's because of black people that they have the opportunity How do you come and hate somebody who opened the door for you? How do you come and hate somebody that the door that you just opened was filled with black blood, but you have no problem stepping over the black body to come into the country and then act like you're better than the person who died so you can have that open door? They don't tell you the history. So you just keep on pissing on American people, specifically black people, to get here and not say thank you to those who died that you could be here. Now, when they try and overturn birthright citizenship, I don't want anybody mistaken. Everybody's going to get it. If you're not a white Anglo-Saxon, a person whom they think is white and pure, if you're Italian, you Irish, you getting it too. It's not your fault that you don't know history. But after I just told you, it's your fault that you don't go look it now. If you don't search it now, that's on you. This country has hid all that shit from you. And all you've believed is these racist white people telling you what this country is about and what it's supposed to mean. The American citizens have this idea of what this dreams of grandeur or what it is. But if you go back and look at the stains of this country, you'll understand. Donald Trump is the worst of us. The people behind him is the worst of us. We have put back the people in history that we thought had died. Their spirit lives in the people who run this country now. The Robert E. Lees, the people who killed these Native Americans and indigenous people, they live inside of these people. They're doing the exact same thing these people did. They've learned how to hide it, how to have a straight face, how to change the vernacular so it doesn't sound like it, to have dog whistles that you can't hear. It just sounds like they're just talking. Woke, you didn't know that means the N-word, but you just talk around woke. Oh, woke, 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 woke. It means don't listen to black folk. They're telling you the truth. Hate woke. Love being asleep. It's not hard. All you got to do is search what I'm saying, and you'll find out this black man's telling you the fucking truth. Go search what they're saying, and it'll lead you to a dead end because they're lying through their teeth. There's no data that backs what the fuck they're saying up. And they want you to stay in the dark. They want you to stay asleep. And too many of you guys are. I want you to know that how his history shapes us today. And I'm going to do it for black people, for immigrants, and then for all Americans. Dred Scott's life was a proof that freedom in America had to be fought for, not granted. His defeat became the soil where true citizenship was born. A citizenship still under threat today. Every time someone questions the legitimacy of black people belonging. For immigrants, no matter what color you are, immigrants, the 14th Amendment, written in response to his case, Dred Scott. They always talk about Dred Scott. Put some respect on Dred Scott's name. The reason why you have citizenship in this country, birthright citizenship, is because a black man fought. He got fed the fuck up with racist white people and took them to court. Had he not had the balls to go to court in a racist Missouri and risk his life alongside his wife, we wouldn't have that. We wouldn't have had the Civil War. It may have came later because he just sparked it. A lot of things fell into place. The 14th Amendment, immigrants, written in his response to his case, declared that anyone born in America, on America's soil, is a citizen, no matter their blood, their race, or parentage. Dred Scott's name may not be on your lips, but his fight protects your future. And just like the history in this country, it is a black man, Dred Scott, that fought for you to have this freedom, this birthright, alongside slaves and other people who fought during the Civil War. But in this situation, there's a black man, Dred Scott, that they mention all the time, that fought for you to have this citizenship. And again in history, it is a white man that's trying to take it away from you. Yet you worship that white man who ain't doing nothing but trying to fuck your life over. And you talk down to this black man, to other black men and women. You vote the opposite side of them. If this man doesn't prove to any citizen out there that used to be an immigrant that black blood had to be spilt for you to have what you have, and that white blood took blood like his so they can keep you down. It wasn't a white man that had the balls to go to a racist court to say, I should be free, I should have citizenship, and get the country in a tizzy because they treated him so bad. It was a black man. You owe that to him. It's crazy how black people keep on trying to educate this country, keep on trying to make it higher, take it to a different level. You're looking at a black man here. How many black men have had to die? Martin Luther King, others, Medgar Evers. How many of them got to die for you to have, and you not realize that black people have always been on your side? Black people have always been the leaders to fight for you to have. And it's always been white people that's been trying to take it away from you. It just sucks that people don't realize that or ignore that. And for all Americans, his story reveals the truth of this nation, that the law can be a weapon or a shield, that justice often arrives late, and that the people must rise when the courts fall short. This final part, I call it, he's like the ghost who guarded the gate. Dred Scott was told he was not a man. He was told he could not belong. But in fighting back and demanding freedom, he cracked open a system built to deny him. He did not live to see a better America. But his shadow still stands between us and tyranny. And every time someone questions birthright or asks who deserves to be here, we must answer, we are here because Dred Scott walked first. We are citizens because he refused to be silent. And we will not be erased. Not again, not ever. That's the story that I wrote for Dred Scott. Thank you for your contributions, Mr. Dred Scott. If it wasn't for you, immigrants would not be here. If you had not started and sparked that fire, the Civil War may not have happened when it happened. We wouldn't be free as long as we've been free. And when they mention Dred Scott's name, talking about the case of Dred Scott versus Sanford, you know who the fuck you're talking about now. Put some respect on Dred Scott's name. So when you start to realize why you have birthright citizenship and you start to see why they're trying to take it away, stop telling people, especially black people. I get tired of people trying to educate us. when it's so crazy how black people know their history. It is only this country who tries to hide our history or get rid of it because they don't want you to know the truth. And black people, throughout the pain that we have to deal with by bringing this stuff up, through pain, we're sharing the love of this country. We've died for it. We've bled for it. We continue to do it. We've sacrificed a lot for it, and yet received so little. We get disrespected by people we died so that they can come into this country. It's crazy. You respect the people that fuck everybody over and hate the people that had to die for your ass to come over. This country's fucked, man. This world's fucked. You can't give respect to those who fought for you, who loved you enough that they put their life on the line. Not just words, not just marches. Our brothers and sisters have been shot in the head, in the heart, in the back, in the eye, have been hung, had their slung cut off, all that, so that people can have freedom in this country. Not only just black people, immigrants too. We've spent hundreds of years realizing that the Statue of Liberty is an homage to black people being free. Yet every culture looks at it like it was there for them. Always hiding, saying sorry to black people. Statue of Liberty is saying sorry, black people, for being slaves. Here it is. This is a monument to you guys. And even in that, they could not give black people of that day and age who had worked in the fields, who had did nothing to white people. And they couldn't even give them the respect to leave that statue as it was meant to be, a woman of color with shackles on to prove that slavery was over. They couldn't look at that because racist white people want to look at statues and say, hey, this is supposed to be an homage to us still, when it's supposed to be an admonishment for you to look at that and remember what you fucking did so that you don't do it anymore. That where you've been and where you are is all in one monument. The ills of what you did as you look at it, and the great things you did that got us free as you look at it. It was the worst of us and the best of us, what it was meant to be at the exact same time. But instead, racist white people wanted to make it something that they look at and forget black people. And that's the main reason it's there. Don't tell me this is not a racist country when you can't face up to why that damn thing is up there and look at it and say, thank you, black people, for the freedoms that we have in this country today, because racist white men would never have given it to us had we not fought and died for their financial love. The only reason we're free is because racist white people on both sides wanted money to equal out the cash flow. Wasn't like they had a moral thing like, oh my God, slavery is just so bad. No. There probably were some abolitionists who had that idea from jump, but the rest of them, no. If they could have slavery again back today, they would have it. That's the Donald Trumps of the world. That's the Republican MAGA of the world. That's the Stephen Millers of the world. You see them doing it to people who are Latin and other cultures. And they're betting that you won't give a fuck. And if you don't, you're next. What bothers me is that they have been thinking about this for 50 years or more. And they got a think tank, multiple of them, Heritage Foundation and many other ones. They done put billions of dollars in these things over the past 50 years or more, all in hopes that this day would one day come. And if Americans ain't ready to fight for what's right for all of us, they're going to take us back down to that hell where it used to be. Don't think it can't go back. I'm going to tell you right now, before slavery happened, the African didn't think that this shit could happen. The people who lived amongst the Africans back in the day didn't think this shit could happen. But brainwashing is a mother. All things are possible if you can brainwash a group of people and get them to live off of, breathe off of, get energy from their hate. They can wake up every day and have a healthy dose and go through the whole day hating on people. So much so they'll unalive you if you don't believe in them. And because they have the white skin, some of them will get off. Depends on what race they killed. But I ain't telling you nothing you shouldn't know. Open up a book. Read a newspaper article. Go to the library and look at newspaper articles of unalivings of people of color in the last decade. You'll see a shit ton. All justified by white hate. See, white hate ain't calling them the N-word. White hate is looking to see what's wrong with that person's life so that you can justify their death. That's white hate. And it gets into all kinds of people's systems. Candace Owens had it. Probably still does. Once George Floyd died or was murdered, what was Candace Owens doing? She was on her white supremacy tip, looking to see what this man's criminal record was years and years and years ago. She never once looked at the police officer's record to find out he had done the same thing to a 14-year-old kid. It never came out of her mouth. The 14-year-old kid didn't die, and it didn't even register that she was being racist as fuck. Because every racist white person went to go check what kind of record this man had, even though when you watch the video, that black man never did anything against the law. How can you watch a black man have a knee on his neck and yell out for his mama, and your racist ass is on your phone trying to find out what he's done in his lifetime that he should have gotten stomped out for his life, should have got stomped out on camera while yelling for his mom? Who the fuck goes there? Racist people go there. Evil people go there. Had that been a dog, you would have never looked and see, are dogs like that kind of dog, that brand of dog? Okay, that breed of dog, is it a bad dog? Let me see. You would not be doing that. Oh, do they bite back? Maybe the dog bit him. Let me go look back in the heritage of these dogs. Yeah, those are wild pit bulls. Yeah, you don't do that shit. But the moment a black person is killed or a person of color is killed and it's by the hands of a white person, the first thing is to demonize the person who lost the battle. Switch it around and see a black man choke the fuck out of a white man's life and see how much you look at that black man and what the fuck he did. You'll never look at that white man who's getting his ass stomped out to death and say, he was in jail 7 times. He did crack last week. You'll never do it. So don't tell me this country ain't racist. When you ain't never thought of a white man getting his life stomped out and said, what crime did he do last year or 10 years ago? Stop saying it's not racist. It is. The moment we can fix that, that's when we can move toward a non-racist country. But you just can't say it ain't racist and it just racism disappears. No, you deal with the racism. You admit it's racist. Then you go through it. Who's ever gotten over an addiction by saying that addiction doesn't exist? If you have an addiction, I don't care if it's to food, to sex, to crime, or whatever, you have to admit you are addicted and go through some steps to get over it. You got a culture that's been trying to hide racism and tell you it's not there anymore, while the people who suffer from racism is yelling at the top of their lungs, what the fuck ain't you seeing? There's racism all over the place. Well, I don't see it. Well, then look over here. Quit looking over there when you say it. Racism right here. When people tell you, especially black people, tell you something's racist, quit trying to debate them what the fuck it is. You don't know what racism is. So quit trying to tell them what the fuck it is. We're experts at this. Sit your little neophyte ass down and watch and learn. Quit trying to be an expert at something you have never been through. And quit trying to say that it's capable for you to be held back by black people. It ain't never happened in the history of America. There is no system of black supremacy in this damn country. So quit acting like you've had it. You have not. You've never witnessed that. The fear is that you will one day. That's why you're trying to get black people and brown people out of the country. But I got news for you racist people. God didn't build us that way. We will never be like you. You racist fucks are defective. You are not of God. You are of demons. God is good. How can evil be good? God is love. How can hate be of God? Everything you stand for, racist people, is not God. Take off the accoutrements of Jesus and God. It's bullshit when it's on your skin. You should burn for having it on, because ain't nothing about you near God or near Christ. Just open up the book and read it. Hatred is not a part of it. There ain't never been a verse in the Bible where God said, I hate those who don't love me. So if you got hate in your heart, you can't have God in it as well. He doesn't reside in hate. He resides in love. And that's in your good book too. They always rewrite the Bible to fit their hatred. And I also got to tell you, if you don't have what you say in that Bible, there's no way you'll ever make it into heaven. And your ancestors, racist white people, none of them are in heaven. Can't make it. You can't have iniquities and never say that you forgive, that you can't just go and say one time you're in life, oh God, right before I die, I believe in you. Can I make it into heaven? He gonna be like, no. You can't have no one prayer at the end of your life and live your entire life as a sinner and hateful person that's fucked everybody over, done hung people, cut off their slung. Ain't none of them in heaven. All of them in hell. How can you make it into heaven doing the shit they did back then? If it can make it into heaven, then religion is trash. How the hell you gonna do something evil your entire life, and then at the end of the pearly gates, before you start to close your eyes, but I forgive you? There ain't nobody forgiving you for that shit. That's a dream. And I don't care what you say. There's no way that God is going to accept evil into his land if you believe in him. And if you've been evil, you've been hateful, and you've been a separatist, and you don't care about people so much, if it got to the point where you saw a homeless person, you can't bend down and have a good word with him, then how you think the man that's all he did is going to want you sitting beside him in his kingdom with your trash ass thought process? Why the hell would he have you up there infecting the rest of the good people with your demon-like ways? He said he don't make mistakes. Now you think he gonna let you in? You a fucking mistake. You have free will to be like him or become a mistake. So I don't think there's very many people, to be honest, with him. I think he pretty much up there by himself. Yeah, I agree. Rude Interplanet Janet. See, they don't rewrite the Bible, they interpret it differently. You can interpret the Bible to mean anything you want. True enough. That's why I'm free with it. You can be whatever religion you want. I ain't got nothing against it. I don't force you to be what I am, as vice versa. My whole thing is just be a person of love and kindness and respect. Don't disrespect from somebody just for the hell of it. Now, I'm a person who gives love, but I'll give hell back if you're going to give it to me. I'm not the one to get disrespected and walk away. I don't understand how people do that. And I give you, whatever you believe that to be. You believe that to be couth or whatever, have at it. But you ain't going to step to me disrespectfully and expect me to be like, oh, okay. No, we getting at it. We going at it. Like I said, in my life, I learned a few things about myself in the life that I've led. I got a tongue that can heal. I got a tongue that can destroy. And I use it appropriately. If you step to me the wrong way, I will verbally annihilate you. If you step to me in love, I'll give it back 100 times fold. Why? Because I'm filled with it. It takes somebody who loves other people that gets them so angry that they'll fight for you. Not too many people, I realize, have that fight in them. I used to think everybody had it, but they don't. There's a reason why when you look back in history, there's so many black people, men and women, who have risen to the top of fighting for all people. Either it was economically, it was through science, it was through whatever. If you look back in history for black people, through civil rights, through birthright citizenship, it took a black person to get fed the fuck up and speak up and fight for a lot of our rights in this country, for those who didn't have it. And I pay respect to all those who, my ancestors, because if they didn't have that fight in them, they didn't have that dog in them, I wouldn't have it. And I got it in droves because they had it. And I can't stand watching injustice. Not in my face, I can't. If I don't see it, I can't do nothing about it. But if I see it, I'm right there fighting. Because injustice to me is a pain. If I see it, it hurts me. Certain type of energy where I got to explode on that person verbally. And I ain't going to fight them. Not unless they fight me, but I will do that. But verbally, I got to get into them. Like, what the fuck is your problem? Something to that nature. I've done it before with bosses. I don't care who you are. There ain't a person on this planet that I won't give it to. I don't care if it's a priest. I don't care. You give it to me, you getting it. Ain't nobody above getting it. That's how I was raised. You see injustice, you fight that shit right then and there. You bring the same energy or you explode that shit to 100%. If they had 50 with disrespect, I'll hit you with 85. I'm not here to go back and forth with it. I'm here to end it. Because disrespect is not something we should come with on the very beginning. We should all be able to understand that you can get what you want in life. I can get what I want in life. I don't need to destroy you or take away from you to do it. We're here to add to one another, not subtract. And too many people got that subtraction because if I take from you, I have more. You don't have to do that. If you believe in anything bigger than you, you understand that that thing gave to you so that you could have life. It didn't hoard it. It gave it to you. So why, or if you believe in that higher power, why aren't you giving like it freely gave to you? If you don't, then you believe you're bigger and better than that thing that gave you life. Whether you believe it's God or whatever source, whatever gave you life, why are you not giving and nurturing like that thing gave to you? It shouldn't stop with you. It should grow with you. It should be passed on through you. You should be a conduit. You should not be a dead end. That's the way I feel about it. What's up, D? Still, he got the crown on the rocks, man. I haven't had crown in a minute, man. I tried that blackberry one a while back ago. It was really good. Try. I don't know if you tried it on the rocks though. You like it strong. I'm like I take it with like lemonade. I saw some dude on TikTok do it with lemonade. Oh, this shit was bomb. I didn't expect it, but I was like, wow. But you like my homie, he take everything straight. You know, they'd be like, yeah, just keep it neat. Well, you had rocks. He said, keep it neat. And you be drinking that shit. That shit'll put hair on your chest. That shit'll put hair on your eyeballs, to be honest. It's so strong for some of it. But anyway, I want you guys to know I'm working on something. And you guys see, what I do is I fight. Verbally, I fight. Whatever gift I have, I fight for people. I help people be aware of life and things that we just may not know. I'm not saying these things that, like giving education on Dred Scott. I just know that I've mentioned it today and nobody knew who the hell I was talking about when I said Dred Scott. They just say, oh, that's that case or something. And I wanted to put a face to it and a life to it and passion to it. This man fought and he should never be forgotten. It should not just be his name. It should be a story that's told every time you mention it so that the people in history know whom you're talking about and what he had to go through. I always try to go through people's lives because we just mentioned names and I told you Dred Scott. And the reason I wrote that story because I wanted to attach not just his spirit. I want to put meat on the bones. I wanted you to see his clothing. And I don't necessarily mean physical clothing. I want to see what he wrapped himself in. The fears that he fought. You got to understand it's slavery times. And this man went to court with his life on the line. Remember, Emmett Till went to court, and that was at a different time. It was later on than that. And it was craziness. So you're talking about many, many years earlier. 100 years, whatever it's been, earlier than that. And this man had the balls to step up to a court with a bunch of racist-ass white people and say he deserved his freedom. That takes a lot. When you see right now that some of these sorry-ass people in this country won't stand up and fight for somebody when they know something's wrong, just in their face, not take it to court. Many people won't get in front of a camera like I am and put it down for life in perpetuity. What I feel because they're worried about 40 years from now, people might not like the way I spoke. I don't give a flying fuck if you see this 40, 50 years after my death. What I'm saying comes from my heart and it ain't got shit to do with trying to make you feel good or bad. It's about telling the truth. And sometimes I say it may sting, but trust me, you ain't gonna forget what I said. Or even how I said it. What I do is not because I'm mad, it's because I'm passionate. And when I'm passionate about something, I want people who have seizures. I want to do this. Turn that light off. Have somebody getting sick. I'm passionate about what I do. So for those of you guys who may not know me or haven't talked to me personally through like Zoom or anything like that, Mark's got a little bit of chance to know me. Kristen's got a little chance to know me. I'm a solutionist at heart. I call myself an avid solutionist, and I'm working on a podcast that's called Avid Solutionist. It's because I don't know about y'all, but this pains me to have to do this every day, to be in the pain that these American citizens are going through and to have that in your heart, like you want to solve the problem, but all you're really doing is reporting the problem. And, as you notice, every once in a while I give out, solutions and I work on them and I'm building behind the scenes. But that's a true gift of mine. God gave me a gift to solve problems. And throughout my life, I've always been this person that even when I didn't even know the phrase, I did it. And that was that I came up with is that, like I said, I'm an avid solutionist. I like to express the problem passionately. And then immediately after, I bring a solution. And then other people bring up solutions and we hash out solutions and we try to find a better way to solve the problem. long time ago in my life, I got tired of living in a problem. I look at it this way: uh, we're supposed to like, and this is the way I feel about it. We're supposed to like be passionate about the problem, but not live in it. We're supposed to live in the solution. And I remember being young and always hearing my friends from whatever clique I was around in high school, junior high, around my parents, my uncles, my aunts, and all that. I heard problem after problem after problem after problem from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s. And I rarely heard people bring solutions. And God built me different. I observed people. And I love my mentors and my subscribers and followers. But what he put on my heart was to solve these problems, or at least provide solutions. And trust me, I am filled with solutions. My cup runneth over. There's no way that I can be able to achieve all the solutions for myself and my people and the world just by myself. I'm going to need people. But I think we need a place where we can talk about the problem and then discuss solutions. Instead of living in the pain, let's live in the solution. Let's explore that area of life. I feel like life is a dead end if you're only talking about the problems, but never finding a way to solve them, to come back and revisit the next day that you're saying, this is how I feel, and I know I might lose some followers or subscribers, but what I feel like is I'm sick of problem. And then there's no solution. So we come back. Trump has been a consistent problem for a decade. I feel like I have been reporting on problems for fucking ever. And we have to report the problem, but let's spend some time, and hopefully even more time, on the solutions. And I realized something else. We don't always have to implement the solution. Just talking about it is therapy. It releases it. It gets you focusing on creativity, and where creativity lives, so does love and happiness and joy. So if you can bring problems to a place and have a group of people always trying to help provide solutions, maybe life can be a little better. Even if you don't implement it, you get a chance to sit there and soak in it for a minute. Provides its own sense of therapy. It starts to get you focusing on solutions just as much as you focus on the problems. And sometimes, and over time, just maybe, you can spend little time on the problem and the majority of the time on the journey to the solution. And just maybe we'll be a happier people. Maybe the America and the world will get better if we stop focusing so much on the problem. So I'm starting this rebranding to some degree. I've always called myself an avid solutionist. So I continue talking about the problems, but trust and believe, I'm going to focus on solving them. And even if it's just talking about it, going through therapy and having other people chime in and offer their solutions, it'll be a moment, I think, where people can come to, hash out, figure it out, and move on. It's my hope, but I trust you. It's more of my passion than just reporting the problem. My passion is solving. I wake up every day to solve a problem. It is like, I ain't gonna put it in no kind of in any kind of substance situation, but I love it so much it puts a smile on my face because I have no problem listening to problems. But if we can get to solving them, or at least, hey, what about doing this? Hey, what about doing that? And other person starts throwing it in. Oh, very productive, and just maybe life will get a little better. I don't know, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try it. This is what Christians believe. However, most Jews do not think it was Satan. Oh, okay. So those are the things I'm gonna be working on, ladies and gentlemen. Just look out for Avid Solutionists. I'm creating a logo right now, and I'm still gonna be Mr. Straight Facts, but we're gonna start on the facts, and then we're gonna create the solution, or at least talk about the solutions. So I'm gonna separate the time from let's talk about the problem, let's talk about the solution. Hopefully, this will spark a new thing to spend some time on solutions, so that we can, no matter what it is, whether it be mental health, whether it be projects at home you need to fix, whether it be politics, where I do a lot with, whether it be finding solutions economically, whether it be learning about financial literacy, whether it be talking about love, happiness, joy, whatever problems we may have, health. I don't care. I am solution oriented in every aspect of my life, and I'm not a monolith. So I don't just want to be only in the political world. I want to be a part of solving problems in all aspects of life, because we're all a plethora of things, and I want to eventually have guests and move in that direction. I want to get back to being happy, and I think the best way to do that is to not allow the problem to become the energy. Allow the solution to become the energy. The problem is the release. The solution is the energy, and therefore we can move toward that era of who I really am. And hopefully some of you will still be here, but if you want that other part, I don't know what you're gonna have to do, but I'm going toward that, because I need to have peace, happiness, and joy, and I got to fight at the same time. So don't get me wrong. I'm gonna call people's shit out like I always do, but we're gonna try and find a solution and spend some time on that, so that we can have a better world. My contribution of giving solutions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, love y'all. As always, you know what I do. The only reason I fight so hard is because I love. People don't understand it. People think like I'm mad and angry at them. No, I'm not. I'm passionate because I love strong. I want people to be doing right by others. I want I want the dream to be possible for all people. I want poverty to end. Why do you think I created an app many years ago to try to end poverty? If you pay attention to all the apps or solutions I have, if you ever talk to me outside of this, everything I create is to help people, to make their life better. It's not a me thing, it's a we thing, always. But what pisses me off is when people are just so focused on me and can't see the we. And that passion explodes into like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why can't you see this shit? It's not fucking rocket science. If you can love a pet, you can love another person. If you can love your kid, you can love some child that's not yours. Love is simple. Hate is hard. Love makes you feel good, gives you joy, it makes you, excited. Hate gives you headaches, makes you feel weird. And if you find hate to give you joy, something's wrong with you. You might want to seek therapy for that. But anyway, I appreciate y'all big time. As always, I'm about to get out here. I got my show. Again, thank you, DJ, for the $20 donation. Thank you guys for listening. You also see where else you can donate, whether Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App. If you can do that, that'd be fine. To help more, still, like I said, getting a better camera. I'm getting all this stuff, production stuff, to get better. And plus the podcast thing, which I'm moving toward, and doing logos and all that, and start to have gear. I'm moving toward a more positive. I'm 54. I'm tired of being mad at people. I'm ready to some solutions to solve these issues with my passion behind it. And maybe we can get further in life as a people, as one. You see, I always talk about love and wanting us to be on the same plane, that you should have the same access to dreams and opportunities that the next man and woman has. The only thing that should be the difference is that if your drive is not as strong as mine, then that's on you. But it shouldn't be that you don't have the opportunity. It should be you have the opportunity, all of us, and your drive would take you as far as these opportunities open up for you. But the way this country works, man, that people don't get the opportunities, and then people, competing and trying to dog others, and you just can't win. But when you got people who care about people, it's a lot simpler than you think. It's easier to love than it is to hate. It's just that there's so many of us that hate ourselves that we can't see love in nobody else. So a lot of that is therapy. And by finding solutions, I hope what I can do is give you that same energy. Drain it from me if you can, or if you will, and vice versa. I'm always that person who believes when you're around good people, goodness comes through you and to you, right? And that's what we do. Thank you, who's that? Nina for $9.99. I appreciate you for the donation. And so that's what I plan on doing. And love y'all. And I'll see y'all on what's this, Friday? On Monday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. As always. What else? Oh, music shows coming on. You like old school music? It's coming on TikTok at about 7:30, maybe 7:40 or 7:20 now. Give me about 20 minutes to eat. I'm gonna do the music show, old school music. We're gonna be celebrating at the very beginning the life of I can't remember the top of my head of the Whispers, the singer of the Whispers who just passed away. I don't know why at the top of my head I can't remember his name, but he passed away recently. He lost a battle with cancer, and we're gonna, at the very beginning, we're gonna celebrate his life with a few songs from the Whispers, and then we'll get into some old school music. You give me 2 requests, I play your list. I play my list, I play your list, and I close it down. So with positive message. So as always, I want to thank all of my my members, my subscribers for being here. Much love to y'all. Shout out to Benny Loco, to Mark D. I think I might see you tomorrow. I got sent out the email for people who with Black Unity. Rude in the Planet Janet, D West and family. What's up? I appreciate you. DJ as always. Much love to you. I see you, Vera. Well, it's Kristen as well. I see you. Thank you for being a member. I'm still going up. Give me a second. I don't want to miss anybody as much as I can who are members and regulars. I appreciate all my regulars here. What's up, D Still? All right. Much love to y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe. Also, if you like old school movies, you're going to watch one on Sunday. So at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on my TikTok, Mr. Straight Facts 23 on TikTok. We watch an old school movie. We listen to jazz, blues, smooth R&B, kind of a mixture, kind of mellowed out. And then we watch an old school movie. Lately, we've been watching a lot of black and whites, which is pretty cool. But anyway, you guys have a great night. Be safe. Much love to you. As always, I see you when I see you.